here's the kind of shit that we have seen for years now, and this is why we state for a fact that that everything is wired. It's all locked down, people. You are not going to fucking get anything. Everything is monitored, wired. I would assume that it's the Patriot Act gone fucking AWOL, right? So back in 2000, whenever they installed that, when they fucking took out the towers and planned that whole thing, and then took everybody in, they did the Patriot Act, and that wasn't for to protect people from terrorism. That was so they could establish every road leads to Rome. That's what that was so they could establish full supremacy over everything and have everything wired. And then they set up, just like in that movie John Wick Part 2, where he goes into the park to meet Winston, and then Winston says now, right? And then everybody stops moving. And then Winston nods his head like, okay. And then they all fucking start. That's exactly what's going on here, people. So if you're from outside of the United States, don't even fucking bother. I wouldn't even bother. Well, it depends, right? If you are if you're a total sheep, right? Which that's one of the problems we have, right? Is that we're not a single, or not even fucking remotely close to being part of the sheeple. However, the lion's den does not recognize us as one of their own. Right? So we're stuck in between. We have to be amongst all of this shit, right? And we are trying to move ourselves up out of the shit, and but we're doing it in a smart way, right? We're not doing it fucking like most of the idiots, and it's just we're just gonna throw a fucking Hail Mary, right? And just hope that it gets caught on the other end. And just hope and prayers, right? And some people, I guess, if you're lucky, but we know we're not lucky. And why? Because we've been in fucking Saturn Mahadasha for a good 17 years or so. Okay? And so every step that we've taken forward, we've ended up taking 2 to 3 steps backwards, and we've been on that little fucking teeter-totter, that merry-go-round, for fucking years now, which had smartened us up to the fact that how all this shit is actually operating. So anyways, this is a posting that we posted. This is an ad, right? And all we're doing is looking for a little networking type of thing, right? A little networking, our own little society type of thing. Basically, all I want to do is be able to meet people, and then I want to be able to know like what they're into, and then when I'm out and about meeting other people, I might fucking, because I got a bunch of ideas that I would like to formulate and bring into the material world. I might be able to call on somebody and be like, hey, and ask them some questions, right? And get some inside scoop on some shit, the real for real. And then maybe they're looking for a little bit of work, right? And then, employ them to a certain degree. Or, do some favors and shit for each other and shit like that. That's all that I'm looking for. So, I'm going to read it. Need work, want to find friends. And here's another thing. I go through all of the actions, and I fucking... Right? And this took a little while to come up with, right? I put in some time and energy, some work, and then to have everybody just shit on it, and that's where everywhere I go, that's how much fucking respect you'll have. Okay, so need work, want to find friends, want to find people of like minds, business associates. Do you have a talent that isn't being recognized and or utilized. We are seeking artists of all forms, content creators, comedians, musicians, entrepreneurs, investigators, reporters, hackers, website builders, administrative personnel, social butterflies, disbarred attorneys, computer programmers slash engineers, and I should have said, and many more. All people wanted, regardless of race, age, nationality, religion, creed, politics, education, etc. All that matters is your heart and soul, and you must be honest and trustworthy. See, they're always talking about, anyways, again, they're always talking about rage, and nobody, here's a fact, people. Nobody in their right fucking mind, maybe these little sheeple shitheads, right, with a fucking IQ of like less than fucking zero, right? Maybe they're only interested in race, right? But most intelligent people, right, are only interested in honesty and trustworthiness, right? So we have many ideas that we wish to turn into projects that can reap great financial rewards if we find the right people. All people wanted. I had to fucking include that again for people, it seems, right? I should have done it 3 times, I guess. College degrees are nice, but they don't really impress us, and that's a fact. You know how many fucking retards I met? I mean, they're smart, like they can go and do stuff, but in the real world, it's absolutely fucking worthless. Right? Oh, like, when was the last time you had to do algebra or geometry, right? I mean, if you know how to count fucking money, and that's really the most important thing, right? And, geometry has its, but here's a fact, is that geometry, let's say geometry as a whole, or how about trigonometry, huh? I'm fucking, what? I can barely even fucking say the word. And the facts are the geometry has some relevancy in construction. If you're in construction, you've used geometry many times, but only a small little portion, a fraction of it, what you needed to know, and you understand that little bit, and that's about it. You don't need a whole goddamn fucking 4 years of college for all of this shit. It's fucking, they're scamming motherfuckers is what they're doing. They're scamming all the fucking, it's either you go to college or you go into the military. You're smarter by going into the military, but then you're not. I mean, it's a teeter-totter thing again, right? Because when you get out of the military, you're going to be fucking worthless in the real world scenario. So, and then you're going to have to go to college, right, to get any value. But you will be smarter and you will be a better all-around individual if you had that military training instead of if you went straight into the college. It's very complex, and it really boils down to it's all a fucking scam. And what I'm trying to do is alleviate. Do you have talent? What is your fucking talent, right? And I may not be able to use it, but the point is that I'm going to have all of these other people in which I can fucking sit back, right, and strategically start putting people together and forming alliances is my thought. Right? So we are seeking people with real-world life experiences, which trumps a degree. Always has and always will. No politics. Don't give a fuck about your politics. And, fuck. Politics is for fucking... is for masters or slaves. So if you're one of the masters, then politics is great. If you're a fucking slave, then I want nothing to do with your fucking politics. No religion, again, that's for masters and slaves, right? So We don't give a fuck about, and no allegiances to other organizations. What we mean is we are looking for wanted to say undependent, but people would not understand that because you cannot be in dependence at the same time that you're undependent. Duh. So, independent people with a natural state of mind, or neutral, with a neutral state of mind. Not somebody who's already been stuck inside of a fucking box and they're gonna have to fucking try to break all the chains that bind inside their little black box when they put that little graduation hat on, that little black square box. We want people who have an open mind in all matters and aren't bounded by prior oaths of obligations. Examples of people we have no interest in: Freemasons, bars associates, state employees, active military personnel, all of which belong to a society in which we aren't allowed to partake in. Physical location. It doesn't matter at this time where you are currently located. What does matter is where you belong. When we find our people, we will make adjustments on a case-to-case basis. Much of our needs can be fulfilled remotely via computer and phone. Pot smokers are not only welcome but respected. That's a rare, right? And then what you do to even go farther with that, what you do in your personal life is your fucking business. So keep it your business and none of our concern, as long as it doesn't spill into our quote-unquote society or what we're trying to do here, creating problems and complications with our society, which would be just a group of American people with like minds. Then not only is it not our business, but again, none of our concern. It's none of our business until it becomes our concern. You get it? And on top of that, there's heroes everywhere. Cops. Fucking scumbag cops. I fucking hate them. They're heroes everywhere. Every time we don't give a fuck what you are about. Just whatever. That's it. And this guy has been fucking taken down everywhere that it's been posted. It's been taken down quickly. Only one response, and it was it was posing as a female. It probably wasn't, because that's what I would do, is always pose as a female, because now I always get an in, right? So they're one of the protected groups, or I might even pose as a black female. That would be even double the protection, right? And in the minds of all of these little fucking monkeys. All these little mental midgets. All these little shitheads. The sheeple. The people that disgust me. I got a lot of respect for the geniuses that have these fucking little turds hanging by a string, right? Right? I have a lot of respect for that. It fucks my whole life up at this current time. And if I were ever to get any kind of power like that, I would be a hell of a lot more open, I think. Maybe, I don't know. I would have to wait until I... Anyways, this is the kind of shit I fucking have to put up with all of the time. This is what I've been looking for. I have it set up right now. I've contacted all of the pubs that are within a remotely fairly close distance, and have it set up where now I know if I can get a band in there and how much they would pay. I know which ones allow any of this kind of shit, And I would like to start kind of managing, I guess, if you want to call it, but start meeting people and promoting people. Okay? And get things going and moving. And one particular place, right? She says, "Oh yeah, we used to have open mics all the time, and we had a huge crowd. But all those people that were in charge of that or that created that, they're all dead now. And so what is going on, right? Because and I'm like, yeah. And so what is going on is it's all dependent now on all the millennials. But all the millennials, they don't really have their, how is it? They lack social capacity, right? So for a millennial, I guess when they were growing up, their parents were like, okay, honey, whatever you say, honey, you're the boss, honey, you're the boss. And they were like little fucking cunts, right? I want this, I want that, I want this. And their parents fucking, and this was a time, we're talking about in the United States or America, whichever one you want to view. United States made this all happen to the American people. Right? So then there was a time where you weren't allowed to slap your kid and everything. I wasn't in that time, right? So, like, for example, me, I'll tell you real quick one story. It was in the summertime. I had this girl who called me. Her name was Tina. And I had a crush on her, and out of nowhere, she calls me at my house, and I was grounded, right? And I snuck on the phone, and my dad knew about it. And I wasn't supposed to, but he was out, and they had this party going on, and there was maybe five people around the table, outsiders, right? And my dad was sitting right beside me, and when I came up for dinner out of my room, because I always had to stay in my room for fucking months, right? He's like, "Who's that on the phone?" And I was like, I didn't want to tell him and shit. And so he asked me again, and when he asked me again, he was pissed, right? Because he doesn't have to ask me twice, right? He asked me one fucking time, and I better answer him. And I also better look him in the eyes when I'm answering him, right? And so I was like, and then all these people were sitting around, and I was like, and he said, and he got pissy, right? It's like, "Who was that, right, on the phone?" And I said, I said, "None of your business." Yeah, I was like, it's none of your business, right? All like a little bitch, like, come on, man, it's none of your business. And he fucking backhand bitch slapped me so hard right there. He fucking, I was going to put food in my mouth, and the fucking food flew up out of my fork. I flew back, right? And yeah, and everybody at the table was just like, damn. That bitch just got busted. Everybody was like, "Ooh, everybody put their heads down." And we just like, didn't see anything. Okay, there's the time. That's the fucking place I come from. And I could go on many, many times that some shit like that happened all my life. So, now, and most of all those people were creating this thing, they were having fun and shit, and they could accept. But now it's all segregation, right? It's like people even believing shit that's not true, right? So for an example, if it was a black individual, "Oh, that's a white bar. Are we allowed in that white bar?" I've seen black Americans. These are only Americans. I don't know how other people think in the world, right? And Americans are fucking idiots, okay? So I've seen many cases where black African Americans, they go like to places like Ireland, right? or anywhere in Europe, and they're like, okay, guys. So I went, and they were like, I didn't know how they were going to accept me, and I was like, I was so impressed. I couldn't actually believe it. I walked into the bar, and everybody treated me like I was a human. It was incredible, guys. I'm like, I'm thinking, what the fuck are you fucking people on, right? I mean, and this is all brainwashing, right? Like homosexuals, right? I personally do not like a butterfly-eyed fucking flaming pansy homosexual, right? And it's the reason is because you look like a fucking 12-year-old little girl and you're acting like a little girl. I don't give a shit what you do in your bed, right? So if you're a trucker and you're a fucking gay trucker, right? Um, like when you're hanging out and when you're around, it's like, okay, I wouldn't even know, right? It's that fucking flaming, hey girl, OMG, oh my God. It's that like crazy off the wall kind of shit. And it's like, I got no problem, but I just, ew. Like, I don't have to fucking put up with this. So, like we change. I either leave or you fucking leave, right? But I'm going to change the dynamics at some point because I really, like this is a little fucking sick to my stomach. You are a grown man. Act semi like a grown man, please, right? I mean, you are just a fucking grown adult. Anyways, yeah, so yeah, she said, oh yeah, we used to have all kinds of people come. They used to have fun, is what the fuck that I'm finding out. And now there is none. And you know why? Because all of the fucking creators of that and the people who are fucking and well, now everything. I asked her age, and she said 29 years old. So she would be around the millennial-ish time. And yeah. And so yeah, so what goes on around here, and everyone is like, nothing at all, nothing, absolutely nothing. And there used to be a time where shit used to go and people used to have fun, and now everybody, and then they blame it for, well, since COVID, and I'm like, yeah, bullshit. It's a fucking mindset, people. Okay? It's a mindset. You millennials are fucking empty shells, right? In general. I think, there's organic fucking, I got a conspiracy theory about that I'm probably waste my time getting into, but they were already being able to clone people. They were already capable of cloning. And I bet you any money that these are organic portals. A bunch of fucking clones are among us. Okay? Among the people with actual real spirit. And I wouldn't doubt if they don't get preferential treatment, meaning they get all of the jobs, all the good jobs and everything. Okay? That would be a fucking movie right there.